In this video, we're going to work with dates in queries. So in the past, we've worked with text, we've worked with numbers, but dates are pretty different. And we're still going to use our really simple students database. We've got their birth dates in it. And so we could ask one of three different things. We could ask about a full date. Was anyone born on August 20th, 1993? And you'll notice we've got all three pieces of the date there. August 20, 1993. So we know the month, the day, and the year. We might also ask about part of a date. So we might be interested in, was anyone born in August, but we don't care about the other two parts of the date. Or was anyone born in August 1993? So we've got two parts of the date, but not the third. Those are the two questions we can ask. We might also want to include the date in a result and want it formatted in a specific way. So I would like the date to appear like Friday, August 20, 1993. Or I'd like it to be really shortly formatted, 20-aug-93. And anytime you're creating a query and you're using dates in it, you want to think carefully about which of these three things you're doing, because each of these is done differently. So let's start with the first one, the full date. And let's ask, was anyone born on August 20th, 1993? If we skip over to our table, we'll notice we've got birth dates here listed as part of this. Let's create a brand new query with our students table. And we'd like the first name and the last name of whoever has this birthday. And then we're going to add birth date. And the full date is the easiest. We just leave the birth date field up at the top just the way it is. We're only going to add criteria to the bottom. Just like text, we put quotes around it to say that this is text specifically. With a date, we put pound signs around it. So, pound sign, that's shift 3, 8/20/1993. What I'm asking now here is, I'd like to get the birth date from the table and only include people whose birth date is this date. And I could put an equal sign in front, but I'm allowed to leave it out. And let's run it, and we'll see that one person, Daisy, was born on August 20th, 1993. Now let's think about the second case, using part of the date. What students are normally really tempted to do is leave out the part of the date that they are not interested in. So let's say we wanted to know, is anyone born on August 20th, but we don't care about the year? Instead of having a full date down here, we'll just put in the pound signs 8/20 and expect that it'll tell us anyone born on August 20th. But these pound signs must quote a full date. We can't use part of a date in there. So as soon as I click away, you'll notice it just adds the current year to the end of that. So that's not going to solve our problem. Instead, we need to change both the field and the criteria. At the field, let's first ask, was anyone born in August? We don't care what day or what year. So what we're really interested in is the month of our date. And I'm going to open this up so we can see it a little bit better. But we're going to use a function that's built into Access called month. So I'm going to type the word month here, and then in parentheses, give it the date. And this birth date is coming straight from the table. So I'm going to put square brackets around it. So this is saying, take the birth date from the table, and the month function will take out just the month from that birth date. So I'm going to click OK. Let's first run this without any criteria. We'll now see each person and the month they were born in, just as a number. So Tom was born in July, Anna was born in August. Now, at this point, it's really easy to add criteria. If we'd like to find out if anyone is born in August, we'll put an 8 down in the criteria. We can't write August, it just gives us a number, so make sure you just put the number down there at the bottom. And this does exactly what we want now. We've got Daisy Mason was born in August, as was Anna Smith. Now, anytime we're writing an expression here, it's going to give us this EXPR1. We want to give it a better name. I'm going to call it month because that's a good name to have up at the top. But remember that name, whatever is before the colon, doesn't tell Access anything. So it's only this function, this month function, that helps Access to know I want the month of the birth date. The month before the colon is just so I can easily keep track of that. Now let's say we only want people from August 1993. So that's going to be the month, but also the year. I'm going to need a second column, and I'll call it year. And I'll use, just like the month function, there's a year function. If I give the year the student's birth date, it's going to tell me what year they were born in. And I'm going to add down here 1993. Those are in the same row of the criteria, so it's only going to show me results for people whose month was 8 and year was 1993. And let's run it, and in this case, it's just Daisy. If I get rid of this month column, I just have the year. Now I'm going to see all 4 students who were born in 1993. And now for the third option, formatting the date, having it appear just the way we would like it to. I'm going to add that to this query. So right now we have only students who were born in the year 1993, but instead of just showing the year, I'm going to unshow that. I'm going to ask the date to appear in a nicer format. To do this, we use the format function. And the first thing we have to give the format function is what we would like to format. So we're going to say, please format the birth date. And then we have to tell it how we want it to be formatted. So we're going to put in quotes exactly the way we would like it to appear. And I'm going to give you an example here, and we'll talk about how we set up what goes in the quotes. But I'm going to put 4 M's, a D, a comma, a space, and 4 Y's. That's in quotes, and then we've got the closing paren here to say that we're done with our formatted birth date. And I'm going to give this a name just called formatted birth date before the colon. And let's run this. So right now we just have the 4 students who were born in 1993 because the criteria is still there even though we're not showing the year column. And then we've written out their birth dates, August 20, 1993, or May 26, 1993. So we've written out the birth dates in a nicer format. So let's go back and look at the formula. And one thing you'll notice is that Access has actually added in some quotes here. So it's not exactly the way we wrote it. I'm not sure why Access does this, but you can ignore them. So it's a double quote followed by a double quote. And it's just the same as if we deleted that. So if you're having some trouble with your formula and you're trying to reread it, you can just get rid of those double quotes after double quotes. If you're submitting the homework assignment, it's no problem that those double quotes are there. You didn't add those in, Access did. But what we'll see is our 4 M's here were replaced by the name of the month from the birth date. The single D was replaced by the day, and the 4 Y's were replaced by the year. And there's a fairly systematic way that this happens. So let's flip over to this little chart, and you can see 1 M. M is always going to be for a month, and we want to make sure it's lowercase, or it'll get confused by the minute. But a lowercase m is going to be the number of the month. So if it's January, that would put a 1 in our formatted date. If there are 2 M's, it'd put a 2-digit month, so 01. 3 M's would be a 3-letter abbreviation for the month, Jan, and 4 M's would be the name of the month, January. So lowercase m's, these will all be lowercase for the month, day, and year. Lowercase m's for the month, the more you have, the longer the piece of information is that ends up in your formatted string. So 1 is the shortest, 2 is a little bit longer, 3 is a 3-letter abbreviation, and 4 is the full name. D follows a really similar pattern for day. 1D is a single digit if it's a small number, so 3. If it's 13, it would obviously just say 13 there. 2Ds is a 2-digit number, so either 13 or 03. 3Ds is a 3-letter abbreviation, so the day of the week, like MON for Monday. And 4Ds is the written out day of the week, so the full name of Monday. Years follows a similar pattern, only we just have 2 digits or 4 digits, so 93 or 1993, depending on whether we put in 2 or 4 Ys. So let's go back to that formula. Those 4 M's got replaced by the name of the month. Then there's a space, and the space is just left in there. The comma, the other space are just left in there. So if there's some additional formatting you'd like, some additional text, you can type that in between the M's and the D's and the Y's to make your date. So let's do a slightly different format. Let's do what showed up here, 20 August 93 with dashes in between. So the 20, it's not clear whether this should be a double-digit day or a single-digit day, but let's have it be double-digit. Then a dash, and then an abbreviation for the month, and then a dash and a 2-digit year. Let's type that in. So a double-digit day would be 2 Ds. And then a dash, an abbreviation for the month, another dash, and a 2-digit year. And when I click OK and run this, we have exactly what we wanted, 20-August-93. So let's go back to the 3 things we can do with a date. We can use the full date, we can use one or more parts of a date, or we can format the date for the results. It's important anytime you're using dates to decide which of these 3 things you're going to do, because each of the 3 is going to be totally different. With a full date, remember, we just have the date field like it normally is in the field in that top row in the query, and we put criteria in pound signs. We have to give the full date to do that. If we want part of the date, we need to change the field. We need to use the month function, the day function, or the year function, and then put the numbers in the criteria. So if we use month of the birth date and we want people from August, we'd put 8 in the criteria. The last thing, we should have no criteria for formatting a date. If you're formatting a date, that should just be to display things and not to add criteria. You can sort of mix and match there, but it actually behaves very strangely in a couple of circumstances. So anytime you're trying to use criteria, you should use the part of the date or the full date option. For formatting a date, we'll use the format function that'll just be up in the field with no criteria down below.